If you are interested in the differences between transition and change management and why this is relevant in human resources, you are in the right place. In my experience, these technical terms are sometimes used synonymously, but there is a difference, which I will explain. I'll also explain why it is important to differentiate between them. Hello and welcome. My name is Jan Laser. I'm involved in organization and personal management research, which includes the topic of this video, transition management. So let's jump straight in. The fact that transition is often equated with change is understandable. They overlap and differences are difficult to see at first. This is a misconception, however, and may lead to the wrong approach being taken to tackle a challenge, leading to poor outcomes. So, precise distinctions in meaning are in fact crucial. To begin, change management as per Kurt Lewin and John P. Kotter deals with getting from an initial situation to a target state, usually within a clearly defined time frame. The focus is on an objective goal or target state. Change disrupts an initial stable state, but stability is re-established in the target state. And this refers to objective changes such as new technical innovations like new software or a new compensation benefits package, or perhaps a relocation from one city to another. In this last example, once the employees are established in new premises, the change process is completed. Transitions, on the other hand, are subjective. They are concerned with less tangible matters, let's say an individual's perception of a transition, like a change of role as being desirable or not, for instance. It's about the realignments that people need to go through in response to change. In our last example of a change of location, an individual needs to deal with an objective situation subjectively. The end date of the transition may not align with the end date of the objective change. In the same example, if an employee is now working at the new location, the change process is complete. But if the employee is still dealing with the change, perhaps because the move has caused some dissatisfaction, the transition may continue with the employee looking for new work opportunities at the original work location in order to move back. So while the change may be completed, the transition is not. Furthermore, change and transition are not necessarily linked. Transition must be perceived by someone, whereas change might occur without this element of individual experience. Conversely, a transition may be triggered in the absence of any objective change. For example, disappointment over an expected salary increase could represent a subjective change, whereas objectively, there is no change, what might be called a non-event transition. A transition is not so much a matter of objectively measurable change as of the individual's own perception of change. A transition is a transition only if it is subjectively experienced by an individual. Thus, subjective perception is a key factor in transition management. Okay, we can now answer the initial questions. So, transition management is not the same as change management. The difference in a nutshell is that change management initially relates to objective considerations and transition management primarily to the subjective experience of employees undergoing change. In order for a change or transition to be successfully managed, both approaches should be used. Change and transition management should be coordinated for the best outcome. Otherwise, relevant factors may be left out, which can make it difficult to cope with change effectively. However, the management of the two processes is different. A transition process delves further into individual factors than a change process and starts where people are now on their path of psychological adjustment. It is essential, therefore, that transition planning takes the change management process into account and that the two concepts are effectively linked. They should go hand in hand. They complement each other by focusing on different things. And this ensures the success of the change project. In practice, the particular terms attached to these concepts are unimportant. Transition can become subjective change, for example, or something like that. What does matter is that for change to be successful, a differentiation should be made between the objective and subjective criteria. But what you call it is not important. To be thorough, it should also be mentioned that entire economies can be in transition. So the definition may depend on context. I would like at this point to address one objection. That is the question of whether this linguistic differentiation is really needed. After all, a person would probably consider both subjective and objective factors without this formal separation of terms. In response, it can be said that a linguistic differentiation can lead to more precise communication, and this, in turn, can be beneficial for change management. So, in the next video, I will explain the transition process. If you don't want to miss it, please click to subscribe. If you want to know more about this topic, please see my linked paper below. Goodbye.